In the realm of professional interactions, the importance of ethical conduct cannot be overstated. Honesty and integrity form the bedrock upon which successful organizations and fulfilling careers are built. These aren't merely abstract concepts. They are tangible assets that influence everything from employee satisfaction to a company's reputation. A commitment to these principles cultivates a positive and productive work environment, while their absence can lead to distrust, disengagement, and ultimately, failure. Understanding and actively promoting these values is essential for navigating the complexities of modern professional life. The fundamentals of integrity in the workplace. A solid foundation in ethical principles begins with a clear understanding of what honesty and integrity truly mean. These terms are often used interchangeably, but there are subtle yet significant distinctions between them. Defining integrity and honesty. Honesty at its core is about truthfulness. It involves being candid and avoiding deception in our words and actions. An honest person doesn't lie, cheat, or steal. They are forthright in their communications and transparent in their dealings. Integrity, however, encompasses something broader. While honesty is a key component, integrity also involves moral soundness and adherence to ethical principles. It is about doing the right thing, even when it is difficult or unpopular. Someone with integrity acts in accordance with their values, even when no one is watching. It's about consistency between words and actions, and a steadfast commitment to doing what is just and ethical, regardless of personal gain or convenience. Upholding ethical work practices requires continuous and deliberate action. Consider a scenario where a project deadline is looming and a team member makes a mistake that could delay the project. An honest person will admit their error, taking responsibility for their actions. A person with integrity will not only admit the error, but will also actively work to find a solution and prevent similar mistakes in the future. They will prioritize the success of the project and the well-being of the team over personal embarrassment or inconvenience. Why integrity matters. Integrity is crucial for building trust and fostering a healthy work environment. When employees believe that their leaders and colleagues are honest and ethical, they are more likely to trust them. This trust, in turn, leads to increased collaboration, open communication, and a stronger sense of community within the workplace. A workplace permeated by trust increases employee satisfaction and morale. Moreover, a culture of integrity enhances a company's reputation and strengthens its relationships with clients, customers, and other stakeholders. Organizations known for their ethical conduct are more likely to attract and retain top talent, secure valuable partnerships, and build long-term success. Conversely, companies that are perceived as lacking integrity often suffer reputational damage, face legal and financial penalties, and struggle to maintain a competitive edge. Research consistently shows a correlation between ethical leadership and positive organizational outcomes. Studies have found that employees who perceive their leaders as ethical are more engaged, committed, and productive. They are also less likely to experience stress, burnout, and turnover. Furthermore, organizations with strong ethical cultures tend to be more innovative, resilient, and adaptable to change. Real-life implications. The importance of integrity in workplace scenarios can be vividly illustrated through real-life examples. Consider the case of Enron, a company that once epitomized success but ultimately collapsed due to widespread accounting fraud and ethical lapses. The company's leaders prioritized personal gain over ethical conduct, leading to the deception of investors, employees, and the public. The consequences were devastating, resulting in billions of dollars in losses, thousands of job losses, and a significant blow to investor confidence. In contrast, companies like Patagonia have built a strong reputation for their commitment to ethical and sustainable business practices. Patagonia's leaders have consistently prioritized environmental and social responsibility, even when it meant sacrificing short-term profits. This commitment has earned the company the trust and loyalty of its customers, employees, and the broader community. These examples highlight the profound impact of integrity on organizational outcomes. When ethical considerations are at the forefront, businesses are more likely to achieve long-term success and make a positive contribution to society. Conversely, when integrity is compromised, the consequences can be catastrophic. Implementing honesty and integrity in leadership. Leadership plays a pivotal role in shaping the ethical climate of an organization. Leaders who demonstrate honesty and integrity set the tone for the entire workforce, inspiring others to emulate their example. Honesty as a leadership trait. Honesty is a vital characteristic for effective leaders. Leaders who are truthful and transparent in their communications build trust with their teams and foster a culture of open dialogue. When employees feel that they can trust their leaders, they are more likely to share their ideas, concerns, and feedback, leading to improved decision-making and problem-solving. Furthermore, honest leaders are more likely to be respected and admired by their teams. Employees want to work for leaders who they believe are genuine, authentic, and committed to doing the right thing. A leader's commitment to honesty significantly influences team cohesion. However, honesty alone is not enough. Effective leaders must also possess integrity, which involves adhering to ethical principles and acting in accordance with their values, even when faced with difficult choices. Leaders with integrity inspire confidence and demonstrate that they are willing to put the needs of the organization and its stakeholders above their own personal interests. Challenges to maintaining integrity. Maintaining integrity in leadership is not always easy. Leaders often face complex and ambiguous situations where the ethical course of action is not immediately clear. They may be under pressure to meet unrealistic goals, make difficult decisions, or navigate conflicting interests. One common challenge is the temptation to prioritize short-term gains over long-term ethical considerations. For example, a leader might be tempted to cut corners, inflate sales figures, or mislead customers in order to meet quarterly earnings targets. While these actions may provide a temporary boost to the bottom line, they can ultimately damage the company's reputation, erode trust, and lead to legal and financial repercussions. Another challenge is the pressure to conform to unethical norms or practices within the organization. A leader may be reluctant to challenge the status quo, even when they know that something is wrong, for fear of being ostracized or losing their job. Best practices for leaders. Despite these challenges, there are several strategies and practices that leaders can adopt to uphold honesty and integrity. Set a clear ethical standard. Leaders should clearly communicate the organization's ethical values and expectations to all employees. They should also develop and implement policies and procedures that promote ethical conduct and prevent unethical behavior. Lead by example. Leaders should demonstrate honesty and integrity in their own actions and decisions. They should be transparent in their communications, fair in their treatment of others, and accountable for their mistakes. Create a culture of open communication. Leaders should encourage employees to speak up about ethical concerns without fear of retaliation. They should also provide channels for reporting unethical behavior and ensure that all reports are investigated promptly and thoroughly. Provide ethical training and education. Leaders should provide employees with training and education on ethical issues and decision-making. This training should help employees to understand the organization's ethical values, identify potential ethical dilemmas, and make informed ethical choices. Recognize and reward ethical behavior. Leaders should recognize and reward employees who demonstrate honesty and integrity. This recognition can take many forms, such as public acknowledgement, performance bonuses, or promotions. Seek guidance and support. Leaders should seek guidance and support from mentors, advisors, or ethics experts when faced with difficult ethical dilemmas. They should also be willing to admit when they don't know the answer and seek input from others. Promoting honesty in leadership requires ongoing dedication and self-reflection. Fostering a culture of integrity. A culture of integrity is not something that can be mandated from the top down. It must be cultivated through consistent effort, open communication, and a shared commitment to ethical values. Building trust and credibility. Honesty and integrity form the cornerstone of trust within teams. When team members trust each other, they are more likely to collaborate effectively, share their ideas openly, and support each other's efforts. Trust also reduces conflict and increases efficiency, as team members are less likely to waste time and energy on defensive behaviors or political maneuvering. In addition to building trust within teams, honesty and integrity also enhance a company's credibility with external stakeholders. Customers, investors, and the public are more likely to trust companies that are known for their ethical conduct. This trust can lead to increased sales, investment, and positive media coverage. However, trust is fragile and can be easily damaged by unethical behavior. When employees or leaders act dishonestly or unethically, it can erode trust and damage relationships both internally and externally. Rebuilding trust after it has been broken can be a long and difficult process. Enhancing team cohesion. A culture of honesty and integrity improves team dynamics and productivity. When team members feel that they can trust each other, they are more likely to engage in open and honest communication. This communication allows them to share their ideas, concerns, and feedback freely, leading to improved decision-making and problem-solving. Furthermore, a culture of integrity reduces the likelihood of unethical behavior within teams. When team members know that unethical behavior will not be tolerated, they are more likely to hold each other accountable and report any wrongdoing. This accountability helps to maintain a high level of ethical conduct and prevent costly mistakes. Implementing ethical standards. Establishing clear ethical guidelines and standards is essential for fostering a culture of integrity in the workplace. These guidelines should articulate the organization's ethical values, expectations, and policies. They should also provide guidance on how to handle common ethical dilemmas and prevent unethical behavior. Ethical standards should be developed in consultation with employees and other stakeholders to ensure that they are relevant, practical, and widely accepted. They should also be regularly reviewed and updated to reflect changes in the business environment and evolving ethical norms. Once ethical standards have been established, it is important to communicate them effectively to all employees. This communication can take many forms, such as training programs, employee handbooks, and posters. It is also important to reinforce ethical standards through ongoing communication and reinforcement. In addition to establishing ethical standards, organizations should also implement mechanisms for monitoring and enforcing ethical compliance. These mechanisms can include internal audits, whistleblower hotlines, and ethics committees. It is important to ensure that these mechanisms are independent, impartial, and effective in detecting and addressing unethical behavior. Fostering a workplace rooted in honesty and integrity requires commitment and sustained effort. These are the cornerstones of a positive, productive, and ethical work environment. In conclusion, the cultivation of honesty and integrity is not merely a matter of compliance. It is a fundamental investment in the long-term success and sustainability of any professional endeavor. When we prioritize these values, we create environments where trust flourishes, teams thrive, and individuals reach their full potential. The principles of integrity in the workplace and honesty in leadership are inseparable from a well-functioning and successful organization. If you're looking to cultivate a more ethical and productive workplace, I encourage you to contact us here at JMAC 10 to explore how our resources can help.